Critical thinking is key to a meaningful education. That's why debate matters. And that's why it's the goal of the Central Florida Debate Initiative to transform education through competition for every student in Central Florida. So I graduated from Celebration High School in 2005, and while I was at Celebration, I won 3 national championships and a state championship in Lincoln Douglas debate. That opened up every door for me, personally, professionally, and academically. I went to college on a presidential debate scholarship. Literally everything I did in high school was built around competitive speech and debate.
Competitive speech and debate makes it to where you work well with others, because not only do you have to work with your team, you have to work with your fellow competitors, judges, coaches, and you just have to have cohesiveness with each other to do well.
I came back in 2012 and Celebration did not have a team anymore. So a team that once was receiving a large amount of funding from the county, traveled almost every other weekend across the nation for competitions, no longer had any program available to its students. And for me, that was incredibly heartbreaking and disappointing and quite telling of a lot of problems that our school systems are facing right now, both with administrative support and financial support.
According to Jen Solms, the livestock industry and climate change, the meat industry and livestock raising contribute 18% of the total emissions of greenhouse gases. That is in fact a greater impact than all of the world's land transportation, reported FAO.
I absolutely think all schools should have competitive speech and debate teams. It has been so helpful in developing me academically and as a person.
The Central Florida Debate Initiative has been crucial in building speech and debate programs, primarily in public schools, but certainly some private schools have competed. We see a huge disparity between the support, the academic or the financial support that speech and debate programs get in the private versus the public school system. And the Central Florida Debate Initiative has provided a niche for schools where they can have the financial support, they have the coaching support.
First, and absolutely the best thing that comes out of this activity is confidence. In other words, it breeds confidence in kids.
They have the coaching support from the staff of the CFDI and the student volunteers of the CFDI. So the coaches don't feel like they're alone. Learning to coach is a very daunting experience for most people. And we lose coaches after the first year all the time. But one of the things we've seen with the Central Florida Debate Initiative is now we have some sustainability. Almost every single coach who started with us last year has continued it this year. So we provided a lot of guidance. The CFDI has been instrumental in getting financial support for us, in getting the kids excited and pumped up about what they're doing, and realizing how crucially important what they're doing is when they compete in speech and debate.
For me, the CFDI was a way to really start to learn how to begin competing in debate, because as a senior, being a novice, going to the larger Saturday tournaments and traveling, the CFDIs are where I actually learned and grew the most. They were able to nurture me for bigger tournaments.
The Central Florida Debate Initiative gives to students, both those who are already performing at a confident level and those who may be a little bit shyer, and let's face it, artists are sometimes shy, but the Central Florida Debate Initiative and my kids participating in the events have really opened them up and given them a sense of empowerment.
I quickly came across the Phoenix Chief Advocates, a group who acts on behalf of victims of child abuse. I sent an email outlining my situation and asked if they could help. I wanted justice. I am currently doing DI, which is dramatic interpretation. Dramatic interpretation is basically kind of like storytelling, and you use blocking that you incorporate into your piece to create your own type of world, and you get to tell stories. It could be from published books or basically anything, and you can talk about what you want.
I think it's important for high schools to support speech and debate programs because of the benefits to students in their other coursework, as well as I really think it says something about the academic commitment of a high school. Really, speech and debate offers one of the few academic competitive activities that students can participate in. And while there are other competitive academic activities, but none of them have the range of events and offerings for students that speech and debate has.
These kids have found a place that they belong. We have lots of places for athletes and musicians and artists and everybody else, but these kids who are highly intellectual, or they just really care about what's going on in the world, or maybe they're, really have a dramatic flair, they fit in. And this becomes their peer group, and they really have a place to be. And that's the first thing. Second, I have kids who maybe had been struggling academically, not because they weren't bright, because they just didn't have any incentive. They know in order to compete, they have to have a certain GPA. So I have one young man, Jonathan Cox, who when he was a freshman, he had something like a 1.4 GPA, failing everything. He actually saw exhibition debates here that we had done with Rollins College. And he signed up for the debate class. He has taken summer classes, and he got up to where he could compete. Now he's trying to get that GPA up so that he can go to Rollins College. And this kid keeps me going all the time. I mean, he doesn't want to miss a single debate. He loves it. He's almost addicted to it. And it has given him a drive to achieve like he never had before.
It helps you connect with other people who might get inside of fields like this to also help you connect, and it also prepares you for if you are to go inside of a political or a law field. It really helps you prepare for it. After I've started competing in Congress, it has turned my plans to go on to like a political field. Why? Because it's fun, and then as I watch Congress on TV and as I do it, it just seems more together. It seems like it fits, so I really enjoy it.
And the winner, 2015 CFDI Championship in Congress. Get up here, Jonathan Cox.
I think every student needs speech and debate because it implements somewhat of an academia to life. It takes away from the leisurely in all the TV and the sports and brings you onto an academic, something that can actually help you and make you smarter and actually in a fun way.
As director of the Central Florida Debate Initiative, I have had some incredibly touching moments throughout the last 2 years that make all of this effort worthwhile. You see students who had no place to fit in school, or they weren't motivated in the classroom, or perhaps they were motivated in the classroom, but they had nothing on campus that was offering them an opportunity to truly excel at something they were so gifted at. And I've seen that now every single month, these new students coming in and completely blowing all of us away with their natural talent, or things that they have spent hours researching and practicing and learning to be good at. The best way for administrations and schools to support speech and debate are to provide a class option for students and to provide funding and support for a competitive team to exist. The two are necessary to complement each other, to have a thriving program. You need the classroom time so that students can practice and they can learn. You need the competitive opportunities because that's what hooks a student into loving speech and debate. Because once you come to a competition, it truly changes their mindset, not only about the world and who they are as a person, but also about academics, period. To me, it is shocking that all schools don't give money to speech and debate. Long-term research shows that speech and debate students have higher ACT, SAT, standardized test scores, better reading retention, better critical thinking skills, better public speaking skills. They have better time management skills, they're more mature, better college readiness, career readiness, better job placement, college placement. I mean, it is endless, concrete proven benefits. And if the point of our system is to educate our students, the fact that we are denying them opportunities that are not only profoundly impactful, but are proven to have a link to higher educational achievement, to me makes no sense. We are failing our students and we are failing our school system if we do not offer these types of opportunities to students and we do not get them while they are young in the system so that they go on to not only be high-achieving members of society, but to make the most of themselves and to gain the type of confidence they might not have otherwise had coming out of high school. And so for me, I would love if every administration would provide the type of support that would make speech and debate happen, because that is truly going to be the link to us having another generation of students who can have an impact on this world. In order to impact every student in Central Florida, we need your help. For more information on what we do, how we've impacted students, and how you can get involved in the Central Florida Debate Initiative, visit www.cfdebate.com.